अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं सतं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितं हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद मूकं करोति वाचालं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरम् गौरचन्द्राय राधिकाय तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. Thank you everyone for joining. Let's start our Shri Isopanishad Mantra 3. Hare Krishna, Ravi Prabhu, Agni, Nirmala Mataji, Namita Mataji, Rekha Mataji, Mama and Puna Mataji. Thank you very much. Very grateful to each and every one of you for joining. So let me just share my screen. So as you know, we are reading Shri Isopanishad, which is one of the 108 Upanishads. And these are all Prabhupada's purports. This book is very small, it's very short, and we are trying to read one mantra each time, each class, and trying to finish off the whole Shri Isopanishad if possible by the grace of Guru and Varanga. So let's do mantra 3 today. And if you've been following, there is a trend going on, okay? The first verse talked about how we are complete whole. Lord is complete whole, and everything that comes from him, whether it's us or this whole material nature, this whole world, everything is completely whole and perfect because Lord is completely whole and perfect. Then the next verse talked about Ishavasyam principle. I want you to remember one word from each verse, okay? From the first invocation prayer, I want you to remember the word Purnam. Purnam means completely whole and perfect. Okay, look at this word Purnam. So let's remember this. When by the end of this Isopanishad, will have a string of words. Okay, and each word will give us will help us remind the interpretation, the understanding or translation of that verse. Okay, so Purnam stands for completely whole and perfect. This is the first word that I want you to remember. What do you think is the word from this verse that you have to remember from mantra 1?
Ishavasyam.
ईशावास्यम
Ishavasyam, right? So let's remember this word. So पहले invocation में से हमने याद किया पूर्णम, इसमें से हम याद करेंगे ईशावास्यम. ईशावास्यम word याद करेंगे, ठीक है? So Ishavasyam, it's a principle. Remember that Ishavasyam means everything is the property of the Lord. Lord is the proprietor, controller, maintainer of everything. He's the Ishwar of everything. Okay? Ishavasyam principle, which means we should not take anything that is not allotted or given to us by the Lord. In this verse, mantra 2 that we did last time, let's remember this word, Jiji Vishet. Jiji Vishet. Jiji Vishet means that if you live by this Ishavasyam principle, then you deserve to live. Such person can desire to live. You know, everybody wants to live in this world, but actually only the people that are following the Ishavasyam principle, following the principle of akarma, and acknowledging the Lord as the proprietor, controller, and maintainer, acknowledging the Ishavasyam principle, can desire or deserve to live. Jiji Vishek. So these people's life should be should be long, and these people's life actually matters and makes a difference. Jijivishit. Okay. So this word should always remind you that I want to live such a life which is according to Ishavasam principle. Okay. Jijivishit. Everybody remembers this word? And from today's verse also, let's read the today's verse and I'll tell you one word. And this word is very important, very, very important. So Ishavasam word was important, Purnam, Jijivishit, and now we will do one more word today. But let's read the verse. Let's recite. Mantra 3. Asurya namate loka. Asurya namate
Surya
loka.
Nama Te Loka
Andhena tamasavrita. Andhena
Andena
tamasavrita.
Tamasavrita
Tamste pretyabhigachanti.
Tamse Pretyadi Gachanti
Ye ke chatma hano jana. Ye ke
Yete
chatma hano jana.
Katama Hanojana.
Let's do a couple more times, okay? Okay, actually, let's read the translation, then you will feel more, appreciative of the verse. Who wants to read this?
I can read, Mataji.
Yes, ma'am.
The killer of the soul, whoever he may be, must enter into planets known as worlds of the faithless, full of darkness and ignorance.
Very bold.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, you just read this translation. In this translation, is there a phrase or some word that stands out to you that was very unusual or unique when you read it, or to anybody?
Faithless, either it's faithless or killer of soul.
Yes, killer of the soul. You know, we always say soul cannot be killed, right? This is what we've understood
Yes.
from Bhagavad Gita. Soul cannot be killed. It is indestructible. It cannot be harmed. Fire cannot burn it. Water cannot moist it. Air cannot dry it. Weapons cannot cut it. So how come this verse is saying killer of the soul? So this is the word, this is the phrase I want you to take away from this verse. And the word here that says this killer of the soul is, look on the screen, Atmaha. Okay, Atmaha. Hana means like to kill, right? Hananam, we say Hananam, right? Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. So Han means to kill. Wasn't there like a Turkish dictator or warrior, Huna, barbaric Han or something like that, right? So ऐसे ही बोलते हैं आदौ राम, क्या Avni, you want to recite that verse? आदौ राम तपोवनादिगमनम् हत्वा मृगम कांचनम नहीं हत्वा, अच्छा उसमें लास्ट में आता है हन पश्चात रावण कुंभकर्ण हननम. So Han word is for killing. So Ha means to kill. So Atmaha, the killer of the soul, the one who kills the soul, is Atmaha. Okay, remember this word Atmaha, and we will discuss today about this concept of killing the soul. Now let's recite this verse a couple more times. Asurya namate loka.
Asurya namate loka. Andhena tamasvarta. Tamaste pratyabhiganchi. Ye ke chatma hano.
Let's try to follow. Lead and follow pattern. Tamste pretyabhigachanti. Tamste
Pratyabhiganchiti.
Ye ke chatma hano jana. Ye
Ye ke
chatma
hano jana.
And try to fit, huh? Okay, try to fit in the memory also, okay? Try to fit in the memory. So let me break this verse and then we'll recite one more time so you can try to fit it in the memory. Asurya. Asurya means where Asuras live, which is the planets that are meant for Asuras, the worlds or the planets, the lands that are meant for Asuras. Asurya namate loka. Those lokas, those lands or worlds where Asura lives. And what are those lands like? Andhena tamsavrita. They are very dark and full of tamas or ignorance. They are full of darkness and ignorance. Okay, andhena tamsavrita. Tams te pretyabhigachanti. Tams here means not tamas. Tams here means to those planets go, abhigachanti, go, when after death. Pretya means after death. To those planets after death go. Who goes? Yeke chatma hanujana. Those people that are killer of the souls. So killer of those people that are killer of the souls, abhigachanti, go to those planets where asuras live, full of darkness and ignorance after their death. Okay, so so in easy words, it means killer of the souls go to those planets where demonic people, asuras live, full of darkness and ignorance after their death. Okay, this is this verse saying. So let's recite it one more time. We'll do lead and follow again. Asurya namate loka.
Asurya namate
Namate
loka.
Andena tam savrita. Andena
Andhena
Andhenatam
tam savrita.
Sarvata
tamste pretyabhigachanti.
Tamsete
Tamste
Pritya
pritya
Abhigachanti
abhigachanti.
Yeke chatma hanujana. Yeke
Eke
chatma
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 hanujana.
Hanojana
hanojana.
Very good.
Ye
Now
ke
we'll,
Chatma Hanojana
yes.
Ye ke Chatma Han
Yes. So Atmaha, Atmahano or Atmaha, this word is actually very, this phrase is actually very dear to Prabhupada. Prabhupada repeats it many times. Even when you read Bhagavatam, you will see it mentioned in the purports of other verses. And actually, there is another verse in Bhagavatam I'll show you which mentions the same word Atmaha. So Atmaha is the killer of the soul. So killer of the soul, such people that are killer of the soul go to these planets of asuras or demons where darkness and ignorance lives after their death. So with this translation in mind, let's read the purport. Please volunteer to read one paragraph each so we can keep moving. Let's see who wants to start with the first paragraph. Let's read the whole purport and then we will discuss it. I again have some slides to show you today. Let's go. Who wants to read? Avni, yes, you can go ahead. Please decide who wants to read next and keep going one after another.
Hare Krishna. Human life is distinguished from animal life due to its heavy responsibilities. Those who are cognizant of these responsibilities and who work in that spirit are called suras, godly persons. And those who are neglectful of these responsibilities or who have no information of them are called asuras, demons. Throughout the universe, there are only these two types of human beings. In the Rig Veda, it is stated that the Suras always aim at the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord Vishnu and act accordingly. Their ways are as illuminated as the path of the sun.
Haribol. Let's keep reading. So two types of people. I won't discuss it much. We'll discuss it at the end. It's a short purport, so we can, I think, read the whole thing. But basically, two types of human beings are described, suras and asuras, godly and demonic. Who wants to read
Haribol.
Yes.
Haribol. Intelligent human beings must always remember that the soul obtains a human form after an evolution of many million of years in the cycle of transmigration. The material world is sometimes compared to an ocean, and human body is compared to a solid boat designated especially to cross this ocean. The Vedic scriptures and acharyas are saintly teachers are compared to expert boatmen, and the facilities of the human body are compared to the favorable breezes that help the boat ply smoothly to its desired destination. If with all these facilities a human being does not fully utilize his life for self-realization, he must be considered Atmaha, a killer of the soul. Shri Upanishad warns in clear terms that the killer of the soul is destined to enter into darkest region of the ignorance to suffer perpetually.
Very cool. So in this paragraph, I want you to take note of this beautiful analogy Prabhupada has given, and this is also coming from one of the verses of Bhagavatam. You know, when these great acharyas like Prabhupada, they give these purports, they are not making up anything, they're not speculating. They speak from various aspects of the Vedas, various Upanishads and Puranas and Bhagavad Gita, and they consolidate all that knowledge when they give us these purports. That's why I wanted you to read these purports, but look at this analogy. So, Bhav Sagar, we always say, material world is always compared to an ocean. We know that analogy. Then, Prabhupada is saying, human body is that boat which is designed especially to cross the ocean. So not all the boats can cross the ocean. It has to be a very good, strong vessel, a strong, hard liner that can cross the ocean. It cannot just be a small, tugboat. No, that cannot cross the ocean. So other species cannot cross the ocean of Bhavsagar. Only human body is designed especially to cross this ocean. Okay. Then he's comparing the teachers, the acharyas that come in our life, the pure devotees. They are like the expert boatmen who can guide this boat, because we need a boatman. We are just the passengers. We need a boatman to guide that boat through the various waves and various difficulties that come during this ride through the ocean. And then the facilities of the human body are compared to the favorable breezes, like favorable winds that help the boat ply smoothly to this desired destination. So if you want to cross the material world, uh, we need nice breezes, perfect winds that will take us, and we have those facilities in the human body. And I will talk about those facilities in our PowerPoint in a little bit later. But I just wanted you to take a note of these analogies. So in each paragraph, let's take note of something important. The first paragraph, two types of human beings are mentioned, godly and demoniac. Then this beautiful analogy is given that how human body is such a great boat to sail across the ocean of material world, and those people are called atmaha, who do not use these facilities given in the human life to cross the material world. Okay, let's read the next paragraph. Who wants to read this one?
Mataji, I can read.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Their swine, dogs, camels, asses, etc., where economic necessities are just as important to them as ours are to us. But the economic problems of these animals are solved under nasty and unpleasant conditions. The human being is given all facilities for a comfortable life by the laws of nature because the human form of life is more important and valuable than animal life. Why is man given a better life other than life than that of a swine and other animals? Why is highly placed government servant given better facilities than those of an ordinary clerk? The answer is that a highly placed officer has to discharge duties of a higher nature. Similarly, the duties human beings have to perform are higher than those of animals who are always engaged in simply feeding their hungry stomachs. Yet the modern soul killing civilization has only increased the problems of a hungry stomach. When we approach a polished animal in the form of a modern civilized man and ask him to take interest in self realization, he will say that he simply wants to work to satisfy his stomach and there is no need of self realization for a hungry man. The laws of nature are so cruel, however, that despite his denunciation of the need for self realization and his eagerness to work hard to fill his stomach, he's always threatened by unemployment. Repo.
Haribol. So in this paragraph, Prabhupada is comparing with other animals who are also fighting for economic necessities, food and shelter and place to sleep, or for mating, defending, all those things that animals are also fighting for. And human beings, if they decide to not to give up their responsibility and duties as human beings of self-realization and just engage in hard work for economic necessities, and they're no better than animals. So economic necessities is okay, that is important, but that is not the prime goal of human life. So this is being emphasized in this paragraph. So to satisfy your stomach and just to not hanker for self-realization, that's not the aim of human life. Okay, next paragraph.
We are given this human form of life not to work hard like asses, swine, and dogs, but to attain the highest perfection of life. If we do not care for self-realization, the laws of nature force us to work very hard, even though we may not want to do so. Human beings in this age have been forced to work hard like the asses and bullocks that pull carts. Some of the regions where the asuras are sent to work are revealed in this mantra of Sri Isopanishad. If a man fails to discharge his duties as a human being, he is forced to transmigrate to the Asuriya planets and take birth in degraded species of life to work hard in ignorance and darkness. Hare Krishna.
Hare
So
Krishna.
here, Prabhupada is saying that human life is given not to just work like asses. Any animal can do that. Animals sometimes are made to work very hard without getting much benefit. But human life, you have got this higher intelligence when the goal of this life is not to just work hard like you can do in an animal form, but to attain the highest perfection of life, which is going back to Godhead by uh, Krishna consciousness and by uh, going by invoking our spirituality and really knowing what is the purpose of this life. So that we like sometimes asses and bullocks, they are made to work hard, like we use them for different purposes, for tilling the land, or asses to typically it's said like the dhobis, they put a lot of weight of their on their back, and then it's we discussed the example recently when you put a carrot in front of a donkey and it keeps chasing it without the understanding what the goal is, and he's never going to reach the goal. So there's no point working like that. We have a higher intelligence than to just work like that. We should utilize our higher intelligence for a higher purpose, that is to go back to Godhead. If we do not, then this verse is describing what is going to happen to such a person who's just working hard like these animals and wasting away this life. And eventually, at the end of the life, they will have to go to Asuriya planets where this want of working really hard can be fulfilled to the maximum by being made to work really, really hard. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, thank you, Nirbhay Prabhu, for sharing. Yes, so we are not supposed to live like animals, working hard uselessly without any end in sight. But I also want you to note this line here. So, human body and human life is actually so gentle that it is actually not compatible for this kind of hard endeavors that we do in this life. So if you do not care for self-realization and just decide to waste your life in those things, then the laws of nature will force you to work very hard. It's like a Porsche or a Mercedes Benz, a Jaguar that is being made to plow the field. Since it is not designed to plow the field, it will have to work very hard to plow the field. Is that correct or no? Since it's a gentle car, it was a very it was supposed to be driven on smooth roads. It was not supposed to be driven to plow the field. Now it is being made to plow the field. So what would happen? The car would get very rusty, very bad, very much broken very quickly, and it will suffer in that process. So actually, we are not meant for very hard work like asses and bullocks. We are meant for gentle, very cooperative with each other, and in a very compassionate way, in a very tender way, working with each other, advance towards self-realization. And I'll give you some more examples of this, but this is a very famous example of a sports car being used, to plow the field, which it is not meant to do. So things that we are not meant to do, when we do those things, then we suffer a lot. So the laws of nature will force us to work very hard. In this way, we suffer in this world, and then we think, why are we suffering? Okay, let's read the next paragraph. Would Hema Mataji or Vidushi Mataji want to read? Yes, Hema Mataji, go ahead.
Once. Hare Krishna. In the can you highlight? Okay. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that a man who enters upon the path of self realization but does not complete the process despite having sincerely tried to realize his relationship with God is given a chance to appear in a family of Suchi or Srimat. The word Suchi indicates a spiritually advanced Brahmana, and Shrimat
Srimat.
and Shrimat indicates a Vaishya of member. A Shrimat indicates a Vaishya, a member of the mercantile community. So the person who fails to achieve self-realization is given a better chance in his next life due to his sincere effort in this life. If even a fallen candidate is given a chance to take birth in a respectable and noble family, one can hardly imagine the status of one who has achieved success. By simply attempting to realize God, one is guaranteed birth in a wealthy and aristocratic family. But those who do not even make an attempt, who want to be covered by illusion, who are too materialistic and too attached to material enjoyment, must enter into the darkest regions of hell. As confirmed throughout the Vedic literature, such materialistic asuras sometimes make a show of religion, but their ultimate aim is material prosperity. The Bhagavad Gita rebukes such men by calling them Atma Sambhavita, meaning that they are considered great only on the strength of deception and are empowered by the votes of ignorant and by their own material wealth. Such asuras devoid of self-realization and knowledge of Ish, Isavasya, the Lord's universal proprietorship, are certain to enter into the darkest region. Hare Krishna. So, should I continue, Mataji?
Sure, yes, Mataji.
Yeah. The conclusion is that as human beings, we are meant not simply for solving economic problems on a tottering platform, but for solving all the problems of the material life into which we have placed by the laws of nature. Hare Krishna. So in this, I what I always also keep asking myself again and again is like, we are not perfect, and even in the process of just doing bhakti, it's just a small starting of it, very premature state. What does it even affect us? Does it give us any credit? And here it's saying that, you know um, even though you're not successful in this process because you've stepped into it, God is merciful to help you advance in the next birth. So that otherwise it's just futile, and we are we can be we are
Hmm.
so I think even the small step that we've taken towards bhakti is better than just wasting time in this materialistic enjoyment, which just darkness and hell. According to the Vedic literature, it's kind of reconfirming that. Hare Krishna. That's my understanding, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. This is actually Prabhupada is quoting chapter 6 from Bhagavad Gita because Arjun had asked him this question. Arjun had asked Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, what happens to those people who are not able to complete their self-realization and achieve perfection of life in this life only? In this human life, they were not able to achieve perfection. So this verse told us what happens to people who are not even aiming for self-realization. They're killer of the souls, and they go down in the destination. They go down to lower species or lower planets, asuric planets, where there is darkness and ignorance. But Arjun's question in Bhagavad Gita was, what happens to those people who started on this path but could not complete it, could not achieve perfection? Just like you were saying, we are very new in this process, and let's say Mrityu comes very quickly, and we started the process but could not complete it. We did not become perfect. So then what happens to those people? So Krishna answers in Bhagavad Gita 6.41 to 43, you can see on the screen, that actually those people who are not able to finish the process, they will be given better opportunities in next life. Since they tried, since they made that attempt, they will be given better opportunities. So they'll take birth either in Brahmanical families or families of, you know, wealthy aristocratic families, where they will at least not be struggling with the economic problems of life, with the basic necessities like food, clothing, water, shelter. You know, those things will already be easily provided, and actually they will have resources to get educated and to advance on this path more. So Prabhupada often gives his own example, that he was, or actually the example of his spiritual master, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, was born to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, because Bhakti Vinod Thakur wanted a child who would be able to, you know, spread this spiritual knowledge all over the world. And so Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati was born. And so these great souls, you know, they are well, in this case, you know, these are Nitya Siddha devotees, but still there are, when we get Krishna conscious children, a lot of times these are the souls that have started their process in the previous lives and just could not finish it. And now in this process, in this birth, they are given better opportunities to finish the process and achieve perfection of life. So you will not fall down the species, you will not fall down the planets, you will actually be given resources by the Lord in the next human birth to get better facilities, even better resources to continue the path from where you left off. So you'll pick up where you left off. So spiritual life is such that it can be picked up from the next birth, from where you left off. But material life, you know, wherever you stop, you have to start again. So no matter how many degrees you earn, PhD, MD, MAD, BAD, DEAD, whatever degrees you earned, you know, those degrees will ultimately be zero, and you will have to start from zero again in the next life. So material life is actually no credit at all. Whatever you made, whatever you earned, whatever fame, name, wealth, everything that you earned, you will have to leave here. But spiritual life can be continued from where you left off. So this is what this paragraph is talking about. And in the end, Prabhupada is rebuking or, you know, admonishing those people that are Atmaha, who are either not following any religious path or spiritual path, or distorting the religious paths to serve their own purpose for their own sense gratification and economic development. Only they're using the religious paths. These people are all Atmahas, and they will go down in the next birth and take birth in the Asuric planets and enter into the darkest regions of hell. So Krishna also rebukes these people in Bhagavad Gita. Okay, now let's get better understanding of this. I'm going to open. So till I'm opening this PowerPoint, can somebody summarize the words from the invocation, mantra 1, mantra 2, mantra 3? Which words are we trying to remember?
Mataji, I can go ahead.
Yes.
And the first one from the invocation is the Purnam, completely whole. The second one would be Isa Vasyam, which is controlled by the Lord. And then the second verse would be Gigi Viset.
Yeah.
And then from this one, which we're reading now, is going to be the Atma Hana, the killer of the soul.
Very bold. That's amazing, Mataji. It looks like you wrote down, or it's amazing.
Can you please remind what was Jiji Vishay?
So, Mataji, want to say? Please go ahead.
The second one is the Gigi Viset, which is the desire to live.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Thank you.
So the way we link this is Nirbhay Prabhu like this. So the first verse says that we are complete whole.
Recording in progress.
Sorry. That we are complete whole. Purnam. Okay. Then the second verse was saying that we have to follow the Isha-Vasyam principle. Okay. So we are complete whole. We are perfect. But we are perfect only if we understand the Lord's proprietorship and Lord's that dependence on the Lord. If we show dependence on the Lord, if we understand that he's the maintainer, he's the proprietor, and use everything in relation to him, Ishavasyam principle, then we are Purnam, right? Purnam and Ishavasyam. Now, these people who live by this principle of Ishavasyam, Jijivashet means these people should desire to live. These people deserve to live. By following the principle of a karma, those that are following the principle of a karma in their life, who understand that everything should be done in relation to the Lord, are the one who should desire to live. Jijivashet. Does it make sense, Nirbhipru?
Yes, and just to clarify, the first one is the invocation, then the first verse of Isha Upanishad is the one which has this, right?
Mantra 1 is Ishavasyam. Mantra 2
Ishavasyam,
is,
and
we had
mantra 2
discussed.
is Jijivashet.
Yeah. So just to remember which verse is talking about what point. Mantra 3 is then talking about today. So people
And
that do not follow this principle of Ishavasyam or akarma actually do not deserve to live, and actually they are killer of the souls. So they are Atmaha. They are actually Atmaha. Okay, these people do not deserve to live, and they will go down to the planets of Asuras. They are Atmaha. So this is the way we are following this trend of Ishopanishad verses. Okay, now let's look at this mantra more. So we understood that Atmaha, it's a very famous word, it's a very famous phrase, killer of souls. And typically we understand that soul cannot be killed, it is indestructible. But still in this verse, these people are being described as the killer of souls. And where do they go? This is the whole mantra being described here. Where do these Atmahas go? They go to the planets that are meant for Asuras, where or the faithless people live, demonic people live in darkness and ignorance, in andhena and tamasa vrita. This verse was saying tamas and andhena, andhakar and tamas resides in these places. That's where these atmahas goes. So, so what does atmaha really mean? Killer of the soul. Okay. The understanding of killer of the soul or atmaha is this. It doesn't mean that soul can be killed. It means that people that are working against the natural state of the soul, people that are causing a diseased or unhealthy state for the soul. Okay. Basically, people that are committing in a way spiritual suicide. Okay. Those are called Atmaha. You know, for our body, you've all heard of the word swasthya. Swasthya is made of Sanskrit word swastha, swa plus tha, which means swa means self and stha means to be situated. To be situated in one's own comfortable position is called swasthya or swastha. Okay. And you know the word disease? Disease means dis-ease. When you are not at ease, when you're not at comfort, when your body is at dis-ease, it's called disease. या फिर उसका स्वास्थ्य is gone, we can say. Okay. Similarly, soul, just like body has its swasthya, body has to be at ease to be healthy. Similarly, soul has its swasthya as well. And to work against the swasthya of the soul, to cause disease to the soul, to cause damage to the soul is called being the killer of the soul, Atmaha. Okay. Because remember, the soul is suffering in this world. The soul is in encagement. It is entrapped in this body. And if you do certain actions that keep you entrapped in this body, or actually you get even a worse body next time, even a worst hellish planetary situation next time, because right now we are on in this material world in this earth. Earth is a suitable condition for life. But then there are these hellish planets described in Srimad Bhagavatam, where there are, uh, people being burnt, or rivers or ponds of blood and pus and stool and whatnot. Hellish situation, or even lower species. For example, humans are eating such amazing, wonderful food, prasad, and such nice vegetarian food, vegetables, dals, chapati. But then pig, for example, is eating stools. Huh? So you are trapping soul in a worse species or a worse uh, planetary situation where it is even suffering more. So you caused disease or unhealthy state for the soul. So those people are called Atmaha, killer of the soul. Okay. Imagine a frog, how hard he has to work to catch a fly, or a lizard catching the fly. So you are putting, let's say you become a frog or a lizard next time. You have put the soul in such a bad situation, such a worst bodily situation, where soul is suffering now even more than it was suffering in this human body. It goes to a hellish planet. It is suffering more than it was suffering in this earthly planet. So it went down into the into those patal, vital, sutal, all those planetary systems that are below the earth, right? Om bhur bhuva swaha, we says. So we are on the bhulok, but then there are ones that are below it, which are the hellish planets. So that is called the disease state for the soul, and these people are called the Atmahas. So Atmaha is a disease condition of the soul. So Atma, its natural state is to be independent. Its natural state is to be servant of the Lord. Its natural state is to be enjoyed by the Lord. But now you are using it to enjoy the body. You are using it to act independently in this world, free from the Lord. So you are acting against the nature of the soul. The soul situation is to be das, 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 anudas. And what are we trying to be? Boss, 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 or boss are the boss, right? Big boss we are trying to become. Instead of becoming the biggest das, we are trying to become the biggest boss, the biggest lord of the world. So that is an unnatural position for the soul, and that goes against the nature of the soul. So now you are, so whenever you want material pleasures, you want to enjoy in this world, then you are causing the soul to stay entrapped in this world. You develop greed for this world. You want to enjoy sense gratification. You want to invade people's property, not understanding the principle of Ishavasyam. You exceed your quota, you eat excessively so that the body suffers. Then when the body suffers, of course the soul inside it, which is already trapped, suffers even more. So already, a soul is in a suffering state in this body. Now you cause all this injustice to your own body, exploit your own body by enjoying the material pleasures, then the soul suffers even more. So all these people by various means are causing suffering to the soul. They are called Atmaha, by developing greed for this world, by developing this enjoyer propensity, this sense gratification tendency. So you are acting against the nature, against the ease of the soul. Soul is not at ease. You know how we sit in that rocking chair or an easy chair? Because we are very comfortable in that chair. We sit very comfortably. Otherwise, if we are, let's say, made to sit on a very hard, rocky place, where there is jagged edges to the rock, they are hurting us. Then it's a very uneasy place. So for Atma, for soul, this body is a very uneasy place. It is used to being the servant of the Lord. It's like fish. For fish, the easiest place to be is in the water. But then you take it out of the water and it suffers. It is tormenting for the fish to be out of the water. Similarly, so those people that are taking fish out of the water, they are killer of the fish or no? They are causing murder of the fish or no? Similarly, those people that are keeping the soul in this material world, keeping it engaged in this material world, within various bodies and within various planets, they are the killer of the murderer of the soul. In this way, they are killing the soul. Not that soul can be killed, not in that way. Not that the tattva of the soul is indestructible, it cannot be killed. But this the concept, the philosophy of killing someone by putting them at unease, by causing disease to them. So this is against the interest of the soul. This हम बोलते हैं ना, self interest में काम करो. The greatest self interest for a person is to work towards self realization. Again, otherwise you're working against the interest of the soul, against the duty of the soul. The soul is duty bound to serve the Lord, but now you are taking it away from its duties, away from its responsibilities, away from its natural state and natural position as a servant, and you're ultimately causing a lot of distress to the soul. So in this way, there is a lot of problems for the soul. Now, there are, in this world, I'll tell you the situation, which is because this situation can only be compared to animals. If we want to understand this verse, we have to really compare things with animals. Okay. So how we are living in this world and how we are supposed to live in this world, let's try to understand. So in this regard, a story comes. So, one time an elephant was going in the jungle, and there was enough food for him in the jungle. You know, Lord has given everything for elephants, for ants, for everyone. He has given everything to everyone to maintain everybody. Um, so, but then he came across this field of sugarcane, and now the sugarcane field had a barbed wire around it. It was protected by a barbed wire. उसके चारों तरफ एक फेंस थी barbed wire की. आपने देखा होगा कैसे होती है ना, फेंस होती है जो एकदम ऐसे ट्विस्टेड होती है, इतनी बड़ी डेंजरस लुकिंग, इस तरीके से फेंस थी. And the elephant thought, I want to eat that sugarcane. He developed greed for that sugarcane. Even though everything that he needed was provided in the forest, he still developed the greed. Okay, so this is like mode of passion. कि जो अपना कोटा है उससे ज़्यादा exceed करके खाना. मुझे ये भी चाहिए, वो भी चाहिए. He developed this greed. Now he cannot go through the barbed wire because it was really tightly bound. So somehow or the other, with his feet, with his trunk, with his body, he started pushing through the wire and made a big gap in it and entered and got the sugarcane and left. Okay, he did that. Now this was a farm that belonged to a farmer, and he had some cows and bullocks and calves, etc. on that, other animals also on that farm. Now, later that day, before the farmer had a chance to repair that barbed wire, a tiger came. Okay, so what did elephant depicted? What mode did he depict? Was it mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance? He depicted which guna did he operate in? Sattvic gun, rajogun, या tamogun? This is
Passion. What a passion.
passion. रजोगुण है ना, अपने से ज्यादा लेना जो आपको जरूरी भी नहीं है. It is greediness, just to for sense gratification. So this is rajogun. Then a tiger came. Now typically tigers are in mode of passion, but you know this particular tiger was very old. So tigers are typically in mode of passion. That's why they're used to running very fast after their prey. They run very fast after a deer and they catch him. But this tiger was old, and he did not feel like running after a prey, and he just wanted to somehow just get the food, not have to work very hard towards the food. So he was a little lazy that day. So laziness किस में आती है? Mode of ignorance में. ठीक है, mode of ignorance या तमोगुण में. He came across this field and he saw there is this big gap in the barbed wire, and there are animals there. There is calf and cows and all. He thought, oh, this is wonderful. ये तो बना बनाया महाप्रसाद हो गया मेरा तो. I don't have to run after a deer or anything. I don't have to work very hard today. Now this is the nature. It is actually the nature of the tiger to have to run after a food and get it like that. But today he decided to work against his nature, be lazy, and just grab this cow. So he went through this barbed wire and got the cow and came back. Now he has developed taste for this, right? He has developed taste for eating this cow. And free ka food mil gaya, lazily, bina koi kaam kiye. So now he every day he would come and he would also try to get through this barbed wire. Even when the farmer repaired it, and farmer even made it electric wire ultimately. And one day tiger came in this same lazy. He has become now very lazy. He doesn't want to work hard. He became very lazy. He's lost interest in chasing after deer because he gets food so easily. So one day he came and now there was electric wire and he got electrocuted and died. Right? So what did tiger display? Mode of ignorance. है ना? Mode of ignorance. Now let me come to the point here. Do you see my do you see my presenter view here or just the regular screen?
Just I see the PowerPoint.
Slide.
Okay, good. Okay, so now what does this story tell you? This story tells you that typically our nature, human beings' nature, should be in mode of goodness. We should be in satoguna. We should be in mode of goodness as much as we can. We should try to cultivate it. But when we become greedy, the problems come when we become, there are two things that cause problem to human beings. Either we become greedy, which is mode of passion, or we become lazy, which is mode of ignorance. Whenever we operate in those two modes, we will get into trouble. These two modes will lead to enjoy tendency and absorption in this world, and these two modes take us away from the Lord and cause more and more bodily identification. Okay, just like the elephant, he became greedy. Now he's eating more than his fill. He's eating things that are not needed for him. things that were not his righteous food, that were not assigned to him. Similarly, we are also doing this in the world. We are also, given this very sattvic vegetarian diet, but we are chasing after animals. We are not designed to chase after animals. Tiger is designed to chase after animals. We are not designed to chase after pig and hen, running after them to eat. This is not our nature. This is not human nature. But when we go against our nature, we become greedy. Then all these diseases that have come from eating meat and from whatnot, right? Similarly, when we become lazy, we just want comforts. We become very, very enjoyer tendency. The tiger developed this enjoyer tendency. He started enjoying. And one day, because he lost this desire to run after, he would either starve to death because he has lost that tendency, the righteous nature that he was given by the Lord. And he has developed this enjoy tendency which was not befitting to his nature. So in this way, passion and laziness, mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance, it becomes the downfall of human beings. Okay. So it's like this, I put this slide which says that human life is meant for subduing the mode of passion and ignorance and advancing in the mode of goodness. Actually, yesterday only we were discussing that satoguna is what goes with the nature of humans. You will see that in today's world, satoguna is coming up more and more. Actually, all the leaders you see, they advocate how they wake up early in the morning. They try to do some meditation. They eat very clean vegetarian diet. They don't eat more than what is needed. Just 80% of the stomach should be full, not 120%. Don't be greedy. Just eat moderate amount, not excessive. Okay, we're not saying we should not be two extremes ever. Both extremes are bad. So we should not be that we are become so ascetic that we are not eating at all, not speaking at all, not engaging our senses at all, and we should not become such a glutton that we are eating everything, that we are enjoying everything, that we are just completely into sense gratification and enjoyment. It should not be two extremes. It should be moderate consumption of everything, and that is satoguna. Satoguna is the middle line. Satoguna is the balance between the two modes. Satoguna is not extreme. Whenever we go to extremes, that's not good for humans. So human life is meant for advancing in the mode of goodness, satoguna, and then ultimately that helps you get to become transcendental. Take the example of a fish. Fish is also given everything in the water. Is that correct? Fish is given everything to eat in the water. Whatever, fish can even eat stools. Fish can even eat those small particulate matter, the small worms and things that are given in the water. But what is her downfall? What is fish's downfall? One day this hook comes with a nice wriggling worm on it, and fish becomes greedy and wants it. But if she and similar situation we have, if we were not so greedy, if we were not so attracted by the pleasures of this world, and if we just kept to the quota that is given to us, the righteous things that are given to us, then we will not be caught in that hook of Maya. We will not be caught in this hook of, janma mrityu that we keep getting one after another. We keep getting body one after another. So this is the point I wanted to make, put across, that we are not meant to be in mode of passion and ignorance. And those people that are in passion and ignorance, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, then they go to other planets. What happens to them? Urdhvam gachanti sattvastha madhye tishtanti rajasa jaganya guna vrittistha adho gachanti tamasa. Those situated in the mode of goodness gradually go upward to the higher planets. Those in the mode of passion live on the earthly planets. Those in the abominable modes of ignorance go down to the hellish worlds. So actually demonic people that are in ignorance, actually passion also goes to higher planets, and higher planets and heavenly planets, or hellish planets, they are both bhog yonis. Does everybody understand that concept of bhog yoni versus karma yoni? Who knows this concept? Do we want to go to, after this birth, do you want to go to heavenly planets? Who wants to go to heavenly planets?
No, we should not.
No, right? So we understand this versus saying you go to hellish planets, but we don't even want to go to Indralok, Satyalok, Maharlok, Tapalok, all these other heavenly planets either. Is that right?
Because yes, So because if
Yes.
we go to the higher planets, then those are bhogyunis, which means that we will finish our quota of enjoyment. Whatever good karmas we have done, not karmas, but good karmas or pious acts, we will have to suffer the results of those pious acts, continue in this cycle of birth and death. And for a time, we will, whatever bank balance we have got of the pious credits we have got, we'll utilize them in the higher planets, and then we will come down, have to come down to this Bhuloka at least, or even could be worse depending upon what we did in those higher planets. There is a small chance that we may go back to Godhead from there, but chances are less because when the nature of the soul or the nature is such that when we are in a very comfortable position, it is more difficult to remember Lord. That's why Kunti Maharani says that keep giving me miseries, because when I'm miserable or having problems, that's when I can remember you the best. And so that's why bhogyonis are not good or ideal. Hare
Very
Krishna.
bold. Yeah, so demigods, Devi Devtas, and lower species, they're all bhogyonis, which means they just finish off the karmas that they have generated in the human yoni. Human yoni is a karma yoni where you generate the karmas. So, some people say, I don't believe there is hellish and heavenly planets. But have you, so even in this world, you can actually experience heaven and hell. And that gives you a very nice idea. If heaven and hell can exist on this earth, how can it not be possible in the spiritual sky in this vast material world? Have you seen these very glorious palaces? Like they're full of gardens and they have such very comfortable large king size beds and lighted with so many chandeliers and completely so many paintings. Like I'm thinking of the palace of Versailles in France, huh? Or think of so many, or Buckingham Palace, or these very important people live in such. We went to one palace in Canada where the Queen lives when she comes there. Queen, Queen of England, when or now the King, whenever they visit, they will stay there in that palace. So people live in such palaces, and people have homes also that are so palatial mansions. They have so many facilities. They have so many servants. They have a servant for a different task. They have so many cars. So people live in this situation or no? So it almost reminds you of how the Indra Dev might be living in his Indralok. Is that true? These places remind you of such heavenly planets. And then there are these hellish places. Like if you go to these slums in India, Dharavi and all, you can see how people are living in the slums. They're living in this tin roof ka houses and thatched roofs just covered with like some ghas foos, and it leaks in the rainy season. And they wahi pe hi stool pass kar rahe hain, wahi pe urine pass kar rahe hain, wahi pe khana bana rahe hain. Flies everywhere, same fly sitting on the stool, then fly, it almost, it's hellish situation. Do you agree? It is, you can experience heaven and hell even in this world. So how can there not be heaven and hell in this vast material creation, proper heavenly and hellish situation? So even if you do not have faith in scriptures, you can still for yourself see how things are so vastly different even in this material world. Similarly, people, there are such people in such mode of goodness, they almost look like demigods. Only like a kundal and mukut is missing. I can think of so many people. I think of so many devotees. If you just put a kundal and mukut on them and some necklace, they look like demigods. They are such advanced state of consciousness. You can see they're such advanced state of consciousness. They look like demigods. They look like Devi Devtas. And then there are so demigods, you can see, like, I mean, if these people are not in Krishna consciousness, they're doing just pious credit, they will become next Indra. They're so advanced, so amazing. And then you see the other conscious level of consciousness also, killing animals, very brutal people, very ignorant people, um, not taking care of their body and just drinking, smoking, exploiting women. You've seen those kind of people also, if not in person, then hope, maybe on TV you have experienced such people that exist in this world. So if such type of consciousness can exist in this world, how can demoniac and demigods not exist in this vast material creation of Krishna? So you can get these experience of demigods and demons and heavens and hell even in this world. So it is not difficult to think that if we behave in a low consciousness, we will go to those hellish planets. And if we behave in advanced consciousness in Satoguna, above, beyond greed and laziness, beyond passion and ignorance, if we elevate ourselves, we can go upwards and ultimately become transcendental, go into the spiritual sky with the Lord. So this is what I wanted to mention about the Atmaha aspect. Then the second aspect of this mantra is talking about, you know, the basically not wasting human life. Atmaha ka dusra concept is not wasting human life, because human life has certain aspects to it that are only available in human life. For example, we were talking about more comforts. You think more comforts are given in human life compared to lower species? Do you have to run after your food like a tiger? Do we have to, does your food fly away? You see the prasad ki plate flying away and you like a frog jumping after the fly, like a lizard, you need a long tongue to grab that fly. नहीं, प्रसाद रखा आपके सामने, प्रसाद जा रहा है उड़ता हुआ या उसके भागता हुआ, and you have to run after it. No, we are given such food that we don't have to run after and fly. So we are not meant to do those things, right? We have more sophisticated, more polished, more refined living facilities. You sleep comfortably. There are certain species that have to sleep with one eye open. एक आँख खोल के सोते हैं कि कहीं कोई पकड़ ना ले, झपट के पकड़ ना ले. As a dolphin, I think dolphin sleeps with one eye open, and then after a certain time, she is designed in such a way that the one eye closes, the other one opens. So she has to keep the other eye open. Do you sleep like that? You have to sleep like, if you sleep very comfortably, right? If you have at least for most humans, very comfortable situations are provided. Think about kaise owls, जैसे bat kaise sote ulte latak ke, you know. And then birds, they are so fearful that the eggs they have laid in their nest, they can be taken away in the middle of the night. So they are so fearful. Have you seen pigeons eating the food? They're like constantly looking like this. They'll eat a dana, then they'll look like this. Eat another dana, look like this. Why? Because they're so worried that some predator will come and catch them. Very fearful situation animals have, right? They're out in the world, and they like, when this snow hit, there's a cat that would come knocking at our door because she was so cold, like it was so cold for her, even her fur was not protective enough for her. So we are sitting in our comfortable homes, whereas these animals suffering out in the wild, and then they attack each other. They attack each other for food, for even for mating so hard. But we have such a nice system of matrimonial ceremony, right? But they mark their territory. They pee. They, with the urine they mark their territory. Like this is my group of females. Huh? So they cannot sleep comfortably, they cannot eat comfortably, they cannot mate comfortably, they're always worried about their defense. And even some species eat such gira, like nikrisht food, like pigs, eating stool, and animals mating on the street. This is this is animalistic life. But we are placed in a very comfortable situation, in a very peaceful, very polished situation, sophisticated situation. But if we insist on living with greed, or lazily, or we decide to invade on other people's property, you've been given system of marriage. You marry one person, you stay with them. But no, we want to have affairs with multiple people outside of marriage and before marriage and whatnot. This is animalist. What is the difference between a cat and a dog? They're also mating with many people. You're also sleeping around with many people. So this is very, very this is like a sophisticated animal, basically. It's like Prabhupada says many times, this is a polished animal, actually. Human beings are behaving like a polished animal. So we have a very smooth ride, actually, compared to animal life. Okay. So if their life is like a tractor plowing the field, we are like the jaguar on a highway. So, but if you insist on plowing the field, then what will happen? The jaguar will get dirty and broken and break down very, very quickly. And it will suffer in that process also very quickly. For no reason it's suffering. Why don't you just drive on the smooth road? Why are you insisting on plowing the field? So we can have a smooth ride if we decide. You don't need to run after chicken and pigs and cows to eat them. It's a very, very low level of life. So have a smooth ride, maintain your body nicely, cooperate with each other, don't invade on each other's property, live and let live. Every species has a right to live here. They're all children of God. Respect their life, respect your body. Do not put things that are not intended for you in the body. Don't destroy it. It's an instrument, it's a tool for Krishna to be used in his service. It's his machine to be used in his service. It's his car meant for his purpose, but you are using it for the wrong purpose. So and we get this body after millions of birth. So we have to really respect it. We get it after 8.6 million of species are there, and we rotate through all those species to get this human birth. So we don't have to have that cutthroat competition for survival. But now, do you agree that there is this cutthroat competition going on even in human world for nonsense things? Why are these countries fighting so much for power and invading each other? Every few months there is a new war coming up. Nobody has learned any lessons from previous wars, and they still insist on invading each other's lands and properties. And so cutthroat competition for survival going on. We are not meant for this cutthroat competition. And then this verse comes in Bhagavatam that also mentions the concept of Atmaha that I was talking about. See the word Atmaha? So in this verse, verse says, Hridehamadyam sulubham sudurlabham lavam sukalpam guru karnadharam mayanukulena nahasvateritam Umam bhavabhim na taret sa atmaha. Na taret sa atmaha. And so notice this word, na taret sa atmaha. And notice this word, sulabham sudurlabham. Nrideham. Nrideham matlab human body. Nar means human body. We get very easily, sulabham. Aisa lagta hai. We feel that we got it very easily. But actually, it is sudurlabham. It is very rarely achieved. So human body, which can award all benefit in life, is automatically obtained by the laws of nature. Although it is a very rare achievement. हमें automatically मिली है through the laws of nature. But it is a very rare achievement and it can award all benefits in life. Human body can be compared to a perfectly constructed boat, having the spiritual master as the captain and instructions of personality of Godhead as favorable winds, impelling it on its course. Considering all these advantages, a human being who does not utilize his human life to cross the ocean of material existence must be considered the killer of his own soul. So you see the connection between Srimad Bhagavatam and Isopanishad here. Exactly, I think this verse summarizes this whole concept of Atmaha very nicely. So somebody who wasted this life not knowing these advantages has wasted their life. And then what else? So we are getting more comforts in this life. We get this after millions of births. And what is another benefit of human birth? There are more facilities and resources given in human life. Can somebody mention some resources given in this human life that distinguish us from animal life? क्या ऐसा facilities and resources मिले human life में जो animal life को नहीं मिले other than comforts तो ठीक है, we enjoy some comforts.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Human are blessed with intelligence, the Vivek Buddhi. That is the one which discriminates us from animal and human. So even if we know this is bad or this is good, at least the discriminative ability is there only with human, not with the animal.
Very bold. Yes. So intelligence, Vivek Buddhi, discriminatory intelligence. What else? Who else wants to?
Mataji, ability to learn.
Yes. Ability to learn. Yes, Mataji, learning. What else? You were saying something else.
Remembrance.
Remembrance. Okay, memory. Okay. So some certain faculties we have been given, right? Brain related faculties like learning, memorizing, hearing, understanding. What else?
हम सर ऊपर रख सकते हैं, जानवरों का सर हमेशा नीचे को देखता है, हम ऊपर देख सकते हैं.
Yes, walking on two legs. We are
Yes.
straight, upright, right? Straight spine, straight upright. Wow, very bold. Yes,
और
Mataji.
हम दूसरों को दे सकते हैं कुछ. Otherwise
Yes.
जानवर सिर्फ लेते हैं अपने लिए.
Yes. Okay. Reciprocation and exchanges. Huh? Okay. What else? We have opposable thumbs. Not many have, right? Some species only have opposable thumbs. है ना? और क्या? We can, so learning language, we have language in which all these books are written, scriptures are given to us. So on spiritual level, what all is given to us? What is given by Lord as resources that are available only to us, actually, not available to animals. So these are some bodily features you all mentioned: the great intelligence, the great faculties of brain, of learning, hearing, understanding, interpreting, reading, language. We have very advanced senses. We walk upright, so on two legs. We are two-legged, but let's not become two-legged animals, है ना? And we can reciprocate. We can give. We can have opposable thumb with which we can write. और क्या होता है? So ये सब intelligence.
Then we have been given the scriptures, the shastra, that can be used for the upliftment of our own soul.
Yes, scriptures. So this is my next slide, actually. So this scriptures, you know, so I've taken some of these slides from Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 key points, because we are talking about Atmahas, and chapter 16 describes the Asuri Sampada, or demoniac nature. So remember that we are learning about who Atmahas are and trying not to become Atmaha. So a lot of people that are Atmahas or demoniac, they will say, oh, following scriptures, you know, this is your opinion. This is an option. I don't have to take this option. No, this is not a matter of opinion or option. This is not a matter of a point of view. This is not just my point of view that you have to follow scriptures. It is actually not negotiable. It is actually not a matter of opinion कि आप scriptures पढ़ते हो नहीं. It is must. If you do not follow, then you are doomed. Krishna says, look, Krishna says that ya shastra vidimutsrajya vartate kamakarata na sa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Param gatim to छोड़ो, सुख भी नहीं मिलेगा. Even in this world, you can't be happy. You are doomed. You have lost the opportunity. So it's not a matter of opinion to follow the scriptures. कि मैं ऐसा मानता हूँ, मेरा belief है, मेरा faith है, ये वो. No, it is not a matter of what you believe, right? It is a matter of what our human body is designed for. We are supposed to follow the scriptural injunctions. So scriptures are given to us, books are given to us, deities are given to us, dhams are given to us, temples are given to us, Harinam is given to us, association of devotees is given to us. So these are the five, actually this brings us to the 5 limbs of devotional service. There are 64 limbs of devotional service that are mentioned by Rup Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. Typically, we just mention the 5 limbs. Those 5 limbs are deity, devotee, Nam, Dham, and Bhagavatam. Okay, everybody, please remember these: deity, devotee, Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam. Often we say A, B, C, D, E. A, association. B, books. C, chanting of the holy names. D, deities. E, entering into the dham or temples. So deity, devotee, Nam, Dham, Bhagavatam. This is given to us. So walking on the 2 legs, we can walk upright. So let's walk to the temples. Let's do the parikrama of Tulsi Maharani. Let's do the parikrama of the dham, and let's do the parikrama of the deities and the temples. Right? That's what the straight body is helpful for. So use your limbs to walk. Use your hands to serve Tulsi Maharani. Use your hands to write and do all these services, to read and to do so many things you do with your hands. Some of you did these beautiful paintings for the Krishna conscious calendar. So many things you can do with these great faculties you have been given. So 5 things, please remember: Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavata Shravan, Mathura Va, Sri Murtira, Shraddhaya Sevan. This is the 5 things. Okay, so then this is some verses from Bhagavad Gita chapter 16. You can read on your own, and some of you have already read that how demonic people lose this opportunity of life and use this life in irresponsible fashion, misuse this life. So we have a heavy responsibility. So human life is given so many comforts and so many facilities. Why? Comforts या facilities किसको मिलते हैं? जिसकी responsibility ज़्यादा होती है. जैसे कि clerk है किसी office में और CEO है, तो किसको ज़्यादा comforts मिलेंगे? CEO को या clerk को? और hard work कौन ज़्यादा करता है? कौन hard work ज़्यादा करता है? Clerk ज़्यादा काम करता है या CEO? क्लर्क ज्यादा हार्ड वर्क करता है, राइट? ऐसा, और रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी लेकिन किसकी ज्यादा है? सीईओ की। कंफर्ट्स किसको ज्यादा मिलते हैं? सीईओ को। कन्वीनियंसेस, फैसिलिटीज, रिसोर्सेज किसको मिलते हैं? सीईओ को। ठीक है, हार्ड लाइफ किसकी है? क्लर्क की। So we are the CEO. We are given heavy responsibility. What is the responsibility? I've mentioned just some of those things here. We have to live in a cooperation with each other. We have to live in a self-controlled way. Control your senses, mind, intelligence. Control what you put in the body. Safeguard yourself and safeguard this mother nature and others. So अपनी ही आत्मा को नहीं बचाना only. Not only we are not killing atma, we have to protect the atma of ours and our dependents and people around us. And Vishwa Atma, Kunti Maharani says, Krishna is the Vishwatma, soul of this world. So you can safeguard. Not only we do not become killer, we become the guards. We become the protectors of the Atma, of oneself and others actually. That is the responsibility of human life. Live a God-centered life. Live in cooperation with each other. Use only your quota. Work with akarma. And those people that work with akarma only deserve to live. That's called Jiji Veshita principle, right? So this is the importance. This is a very nice thing that I learned recently. Radhesham Prabhu mentions it. Importance of human life is that this is how we should live our life. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A means that we should be working towards absolute truth. B, Brahmanas and Vaishnavas work under the guidance and under the for the service of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas. C, cows, always treat cows very, protect them, treat them nicely, keep cows around you. D, demigods, always be thankful to the demigods. E, etiquettes. Etiquettes means sadachar, always have proper dealings with the elders, juniors, and equals. F means whenever there is a trouble, flee to Vishnu and devotees. Whenever there is danger, difficulty, flee to the Vishnu and his representatives. Do not make atheistic plans of your own. But what do demonic people, Atmahas, do? They make their own atheistic plans. And G, cultivate goodness, cultivate mode of goodness. So A, B, C, D, F, G. This is how you can live a responsible human life if you have this concept of A, B, C, D, E, F, G. This is just something I put here because, we are doing so much anarthas in this world. We are killing animals. And one of the disease that came up from killing animals is the mad cow disease. So, कौन mad है? Cow mad है या हम mad हैं? Cow को मार के खा रहे हैं and ये सब diseases हो रही हैं and then we saying mad cow disease. Of course, it infects the brains of the calves and causes an encephalopathy, a brain disease. That's why it's labeled as mad cow disease. But actually, it's humans that are living in a very mad way. And so many diseases. Prabhupada was talking about, living like swines. So swine flu comes, chicken flu comes, coronavirus comes, Ebola virus comes, and these inhuman slaughterhouses are being maintained. So we have created this hell on earth, living in such uncooperative way. We created this disgusting, smelly source of diseases everywhere. This mad cow disease. We're living in we've made the world mad. But this is not how we should live. We should live in a responsible way. And this beautiful verse from Bhagavatam says that you should live in such a way that not only you deliver yourself, but you should also be able to deliver your dependents. Guru na sasya, swajano na sasya. You have no right to become a teacher, a father, a mother, a demigod, a devata. Devam na tat sasyan, na patischa sasyan. Pati bhi nahi ban sakte. Spouse nahi ban sakte if you cannot deliver your dependents. So you have no right to become a father, mother, demigod, husband, or a spiritual master if you cannot deliver your dependents. That is a great responsibility. So this is the responsibility of human life, to achieve self-realization. I think I'll stop here. I had some more things which we can cover next time, but basically this is the point of this verse, that people that live in a very animalistic lives are called Atmaha, जो सिर्फ आहार, निद्रा, भय, मैथुन में लगे हैं, and wasting the human life. This durlabh manusham janma. Prahlad Maharaj says na, Kaumaramachare pragya धर्मं भागवतानिहा दुर्लभम मानुषम जन्मा tad api adhruvam arthadam. He says, ye dharmam bhagavatam iha. This we should practice in this durlabh manush janma. Otherwise, we are doing ahar, nidra, bhay, methunam cha. Ahar, nidra, bhay, methunam सामान्यम एतत् पशुभीर नराणाम. तो वो ऐसे पशु जो होते हैं, ऐसे नर जो होते हैं, वो पशु समान होते हैं. धर्मो हि तेषाम अधिको विशेषो धर्मे नहीं ना पशु भी समाना. बट हमारी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी क्या है? धर्म को फॉलो करना. एंड ह्यूमंस ओनली हैव दिस एबिलिटी टू इंक्वायर अबाउट द धर्म. And those that do not inquire about the dharma are living like Pashubhi. Dharme nahi na Pashubhi samana. और धर्म क्या है ये हमें भगवत गीता में, who is God, what is the goal of my life, where did I come from, where do I have to go, what is this world, what is the nature of this world, all these questions are answered in Bhagavad Gita, and only humans have the capability of asking these questions and getting the answers to these questions, and all the resources are given to get these questions answered in this life. So self-realization is the greatest responsibility, and those who do not try to achieve this position of self-realization are Atma-realization. That's where I will stop. Anybody else wants to share anything? Any takeaway points that struck with you? Who wants to share? Hema Mataji or Vidushi Mataji? You want to share anything?
No, it was a wonderful class. Thank you.
Mataji, can I say something?
Yes, Mataji.
I think I really liked how they explained how human life is so much more importance than the animal life, how they and then the other thing which kind of really hit me was the spiritual life carries on even when we die. Like wherever we stop, we can we pick that, we carry on with our spiritual life. That was another thing which was kind of very eye-opening, that everything material life ends, whatever we have, just like you said, whatever degrees we have, whatever we're doing, everything ends, and the spiritual life still carries on. And I think it's a very good differentiation in this one. The Atmaha, that has a very deep meaning, and I think you explained it so well. So yeah, very, very nice class. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, thank you for sharing those points. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, please remember these words. I think by remembering these words, we'll understand. Anybody asks you, you can quote, oh, Sri Isopanishad says this in this verse, because you have these memory words. Ishavasyam principle, Jijiveshita, Atmaha, Purnam. So I think we will keep collecting these important words, and we'll go to next mantra next time. Okay, anybody else? Avni, Ravi Prabhu, Rekha Mataji, Namita sorry, Rekha Mataji is there, yeah. Anybody else wants to share? Nirbhay Prabhu. माताजी आवाज नहीं आ रही. Mataji, I cannot understand you. Maybe just share in the group later. Chat पे डाल दीजिए Mataji. I know you're driving. We cannot understand. कोई बात नहीं. Naina wants to share. Mataji, आप अभी रहने दो. आप ना ग्रुप में डाल देना. अभी ना समझ नहीं आ रहा है. It's okay. ठीक है. चलिए ठीक है. We'll stop here then. If somebody wants to stay to chant, please chant. We'll stop here.
Thank you,
very much
Mataji.
for joining.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Very informative and refreshing class.
Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Vancha kaltarubhischa kripa sindhuvecha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Shri Isopanishad ki jai. Jagat Guru
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
All glories
Hare
to Bhuvan
Krishna.
Garanga. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.